Howdy folks, it's that time of the year again. Time to get serious. Make one of my all-time favorite recipes. And this one kind of came along by accident. It's a dill pickled jalapeno. Now we're using the same recipe for dill pickles to make jalapenos. Sliced jalapenos or whole jalapenos, doesn't matter. It's a pretty simple recipe. First off, we're going to start off with about a tablespoon of salt per quart and about a half if we're going with a pint. Get 2 more jars here real quick. And that's all you need for salt. That's kind of my first step. Then we want to talk about ingredients, getting good quality ingredients. If you go into the store and look at garlic, so much of it you see is just snow white. That's the stuff that's coming from China and it's been bleached. So make sure you look for some colors on it. You know, it's a little dingy, that's fine. Maybe a little dirty, that's fine. That's, way better than having something bleached in your food. And anyway, we're going to add a clove of garlic, just 1 clove to the little guys. To the quarts we'll add 2 cloves. That simple. Now for these small jars, I'm just going to have some peppers. And I want to make this colorful. I have got regular green jalapenos, red, orange, like that. I've got white jalapenos, and I've got chocolates. I love these things, just love them. But I want to make a colorful blend, so let me set those out of the way. I'm going to be throwing some of each in every jar, seeds and all. Even have a few little Tabascos, not very many, not enough to fret over, so I'm just going to throw them into this batch. So let me get this jar filled out. And then the bigger jars we're going to do with rings. I'll show you how to make the brine when we get done with this. So hang tight and let me get some of these packed. Like I say, the bigger jars, I'm just slicing rings. I don't cut the stem off until last. Gives you something to hold on to. Nothing like having a little handle there. So rings in these. I'm going to want to alternate the colors. If you've got multiple colors, that's awesome. If you don't, just straight green peppers are just so amazing. Excuse me. Once you try this dill jalapeno recipe, you will not want to buy store-bought again. So let me get some chopping done. It's going to take me a little time. I'm sure you don't want to watch, so I'll be right back. Okay guys, when I'm getting about half up, that's when I like to come in and put in my dill. Boy, this is some sorry looking dill, but that's because I bought it yesterday and didn't throw it in the fridge last night. It just kind of wilted a little bit, but it's still good. So when you're about halfway, throw in your dill and keep packing them in. And I still got a lot of chopping to do, as you can see. So let me get busy. When I come back, I'll show you how to make the brine and how to finish these off, how to can them. So, well, what do you think so far? Looking pretty. Well, that sure took a bit, but man, look at these pretty jars. Every color you can think of. But I bet I spent a good hour. Told you how to get into the brine, but I got one little secret here I love to use is some pickling spices. We're going to go about 1 tablespoon per quart jar. Yeah, a little more. And this is, you know, a more or less measuring thing. So about half that on the pints. Now pickling spices, this got about everything in it, from clover to black pepper to you name it. There's a lot of different spices in it. This is really going to help the flavor. Now, for the liquid, for a brine, it doesn't get any simpler. It's 50-50 of water and white vinegar. Now I've used apple cider vinegar. That's going to impart some extra flavor, whereas the white vinegar tastes pretty neutral. We're just going to keep in, top these off. Throw a lid on them. You know, you got to leave a little headspace in there. Give it a shake. You want to get air bubbles out. So after we give it a shake, that level is going to be down a little bit, quite a little bit. Need a little bit more. And I stay a little more than a 1/4 inch from the top. My next step is to water brine. So let me get these filled up. I'm going to be using a pressure cooker. You can just do this with a straight water bath. Either way, about 10 to 15 minutes in boiling water. It's going to make this shelf stable. It'll last you for years. So hang tight just a minute, we'll get to that. Now, I told you we'd get I said we'd get to that water brine. The water brine is simply half white vinegar and half water. Doesn't get any easier. But there's a trick to putting this in. You're going to fill that up. Don't worry about headspace yet, because there's a lot of air bubbles in here. Twist it around. Kind of get it every which way. And then start rolling it at an angle. Working those air bubbles out while you're spinning it. If you do that, you're going to get the bulk of those air bubbles out. No problem. And as you can see, we need to really add quite a bit to top that off. The lid goes on just finger tight, no tighter. I mean, I'm talking just 2-finger tight. And that's plenty. And these are ready for a hot bath. Now I'm going to use a pressure canner. You could take a pan like this, set them in, fill the water up close to the rim, not quite to it, and get it to a rolling boil for 10 minutes, let it sit for 5, take it out. That'll definitely do the job. I've got a pressure canner, I'm going to go ahead and use it. So I'm going to set these aside, and then tomorrow when I do some more stuff, we'll put these in, can it all at the same time. So anyway, that's the short and simple of making dill pickled jalapenos. They're the best dang jalapenos you'll ever have. You're truly going to love this recipe. And I hope you take time out, try it. And if you learn something, I do hope that you reach down and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It all helps us. I'm a small channel. We're trying to get a good start here. I grew up on a homestead and I've got an awful lot to teach. And but we're sure having fun doing it. So we're going to see you guys down the trail.